God, I was being so silly. Okay, I'm the bright queen. I'm Jabria, and oh my gosh, uh, I was just watching the video. I'm super like absorbent, and so I like really like pick up on people's energy. Like it like sinks into me. Everything that I'm saying today is significant and important, regardless of like whether or not like it appears to be so or not. But I know for myself, whenever I watch back my videos, it'll hit like what I'm saying that in the moment doesn't make sense in the future. And hell is my tooth. This is why I always talk about what's it called? Time not being linear. The other day I listened to a voice memo from last year, and I had never re-listened to it like since I recorded it, and it was of a reading that I did for myself. And in the recording I was like, there's this girl here sitting in the grass, and I'm listening to myself talk about a girl sitting in the grass as I was sitting in the grass. And I'm like, how the fuck like did I know that? Like I completely forgotten about like any specifics of listening to like of what I was saying in that video. I completely forgot about that part. Didn't know I said it at all, but when I listened to it based on my intuition, I was exactly where I needed to be. And that's also like a part of the message. Like I have really been like struggling with something, like insecurities, and I would say, okay, like what is this? And it was coming to me as I was sitting in silence, and it was like, or they, myself, my higher self, my highest self, myself, was like, it's like you don't feel valuable. And so I feel like all these messages that I'm saying are like a part of that, like a part of like talking about like valuing the self, and like not being so like harsh and judgmental with the self, because we're incredible. Like I'm incredible, and it can be really difficult for me to like process that sometimes, and also like the wonderful things about me aren't even like the most wonderful things about me. Like I'm wonderful just because I exist. Not Scotland. Hey, I almost said something like a British accent. That's not even the right thing to say. Hi, from Scotland. I'm in Texas as usual. But yeah, I want to talk about a few things. So last night I wrote this song called Green. I had been trying all day to write a song because when I woke up, I had these lyrics stuck in my head, and it was like, wise beyond my years, the only thing I got in my pockets is fears. My credit cards are whole and all my tears. Okay, yeah. It was like, wise beyond my years, the only thing I got in my pockets is fears. My credit cards are whole and all my tears. I'd be 21 now, but if I was here. And I might like still finish writing that song, but when I got home from work, hey, Myrna, do the accent. Not the accent, okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so loud. I'm from Alabama, so that's my excuse. My family members are very loud. I'm one of the quietest ones. But anyways, that song was in my head. I wanted to write this song called 21. And it was going to be about a friend of mine who's 21. And all like the best songs I write, in my opinion, are always about like somebody else. Like the songs I write about like my own life and my own personal experiences like never end up being my favorite songs. And I always find that the songs that I write about other people are usually about me. And I can only see it through other people's eyes. Anyways, I couldn't get like the what's it called, the thing right, like the chorus and shit. And so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna force it, because if I wouldn't have had to go to work, I could have wrote that song in like 10 minutes, because it's like a channeled message. And that's how I write my songs. They're really quick, they flow. And so when it doesn't flow, I stop and I let it go. Well, that rhyme. And I ended up writing this song called Green, which I'll put in the comments or some shit of this video when it's after it's live. And this isn't advertisement or anything for my own song, although I would love people to go listen to it. It is to say that I had a dream this rising, and a memory came back this rising as I was talking to myself about this dream I had, and I realized it was all connected. And that because it was all connected, that there must be a message. Yeah. Yeah, I'm hearing, something with colors. But I watched this video that was very triggering for me on Sunday. And in this video, there was this lady, and she was like asking people to imagine like a ball, and everybody kept saying their ball was like blue and mine was yellow. And originally my ball wasn't even like a ball that you see. It was like a visualization exercise. And when she said like there's a ball in front of you, I immediately pictured a yellow like sun, like it was a sun, like a glowing bulb, like in front of me floating. And then she was like, pick it up from the ground. And I was like, what? Like my ball wasn't on the ground. And she was like, bounce it. And I was like, my ball doesn't bounce. But even with that, all of this stuff is connected with colors. But even with that, I'm feeling like this feeling, I'm telling you, this lady triggered the shit out of me. Because even with that are like these memories of like being in like elementary school, being in middle school, 6:33 now, and like not being like other kids. And I know that sounds like so like typical to say, but I remember like whenever we like share like our thoughts about things or like what we experienced, my experience would always be completely different from other people. I even remember in like college, and like there was this photo that we saw, and everybody was going around and like saying like what their impressions were of the photos, because it was like a PR class, a public relations class. And I was like, I was like, well, like this woman seems sad, and it's because of this shade that they used in particular, and like juxtaposition to this shade, and like people only use this shade when this and like everybody else has like said something simple like, I don't know, movies. This reminds me of a movie poster. And I like going into these details. And so again, there is like this deep insecurity of like not feeling valued, especially in terms of like comparing myself to other people, because I was always, and I still am this way, like people watch things, and I know we all like experience things very differently, but I'm literally like that person in the movie theater that's like laughing so hard at something nobody thought was funny. And then I'm the person that's like crying on a part that was like just was a simple little part. And it reminds me now that I'm talking, like I'm saying, everything might not seem connected, but now it is. I just heard like the Joker, because I was gonna say about the Joker movie and how like the paint on his face, the different colors and the different colors and clothes that he wore throughout, the cinematography, like the whole cinematic makeup of that film was incredibly intentional. But I remember the scene at the end like stuck with me, and I feel like I never found anybody who also like felt that scene like I did. But it's the end of the movie of the Joker, right? And he's like at like this mental hospital or something, and he starts laughing. He's been laughing uncontrollably throughout the movie. He has like these cards about like how it's a disorder, how he can't help but laugh. And he would like try to explain it to people by giving them the card that he can't control his laughter. But then at the end of the movie, after he goes through this transformation and like becomes Joker, not the Joker, but becomes Joker. And the therapist or doctor or whatever the correct terminology is for it, ask him like, what's so funny, when he starts to laugh, and he goes, instead of trying to explain himself, he says, I could tell you, but you wouldn't get it. And when he said that shit, I started crying. And I looked around the room to see like if anybody else like felt that way, and nobody seemed to. They were just like, oh. And you know, that's nothing against anybody else, but the way that I think, when you listen to even how I'm talking now, it's like set up for me to compare myself to other people in a way that does not benefit myself. And so it's like, instead of seeing that this experience as something, as an opportunity to share with the people like how I felt, I saw it as a moment of separation. So anyways, I wrote the song Green last night, and then I had this dream, and I feel like I'll tell you the dream in the middle. And then I had this memory of a different vision that I had. So when I am like disciplined enough and not exhausted enough to meditate, I tend to have visions. And I had this one vision, and I call them visions because it's like I'm not asleep, but I'm not like, I'm awake, but like my eyes are closed, and I'll just see something, right? I'm pretty sure that's how this one happened. I had this vision of like these ant people, and I'm pretty sure they told me they were like underground or some shit. That's how I felt it, or like micro, something like that. And I've talked about this before in my videos. In basically, I was on like this train. It was like a subway train, but it was like, it wasn't underground. I don't know what it's called when it's like above ground, like how it is in Chicago. And oh my God, I just remember that I've been to Chicago. uh, it's a subway train that's like above ground, but it's like, it was very like high tech, and it was like all white. And it went around like the whole like area, city, I'm not sure like what you call it. And I was on this like medical table, like flat on my back, and it was like these bug people. If you've seen Monsters versus Aliens, and there's that one like monster that's like got the big eyes. I think he's a cockroach, but it's like the big eyes like that, and but they were green. And they had on these lab coats. And it was one in particular that was talking to me, and this was all telepathic. And I was asking all these questions. I was like, where am I? Like, why am I here? And they were saying like it was a healing facility for like humans or some shit like that, or like people who were like having an experience as humans or something like that, and that like they go there to like get like enlightenment or some shit, or like for healing. It basically was like how they put it. I think they were like dumbing stuff down for me. Oh my gosh. And they were saying that like movement like helps to heal the body, and they were saying like they don't understand why people haven't like figured that out yet. Like one of my nieces, she goes to sleep really well like in the car or like in her stroller, and me, I do a lot of like my best meditation while I'm driving. Like I get a lot of clarity like while I'm driving, while I'm in motion. And so I definitely agree with what they were saying about that. But I do remember in particular, one thing I was asking about was the color white. I was like, why the fuck is everything white? Because I'm just like, I think at that point I was very irritated with like racism and shit. Like it was like on my mind about like the little jabs that are like everywhere, and like these motifs of like dark, black, brown is like negative, and white, light is like good, right? And I was like irritated at that time. So I was like, why the fuck is everything white to this bug man? And he responded, it's not. He said that you just can't see the light. Like you can't see the different strands of colors. He was like, it's so many colors in this one color, but you just can't see it because of your human eyes. And when he said that, and I looked again, there were like these strands of color flowing through the white, like table their white lab coats, the whole train thing or subway, whatever you call it. I live in Texas, like I said. If I don't know the proper terminology, it's because we don't have that shit here. um, but like the whole thing was white. But when I looked at it after he said that, I saw like a hint of what he was talking about. And I've heard Darius J. Wright and other people, and I feel like even myself, from my experiences in my meditations when I've gone to see things, it's like the colors are like alive and they're like multi-dimensional. And I guess to like make this like not multi-dimensional, but like there's depth to them, there's life in them. In my experience with like new earth or like ascended earth, whatever you want to call it, like everything is alive. And if you want to think about it in terms of like what they teach us here in like biology or whatever they call it here, they say that like the color of something, like for example, like my hair, right? It's like a blondish like yellow color. This is the only color that's not present. You know what I'm talking about? Like in the color theory and shit, they say like it's every color but this color is the one we see. And so if you think about it like that, it means like all those other colors are present here. And that's kind of like what I'm talking about with what I saw. Who knows if they're telling the truth about this? You know, I don't trust anything they say. But that's an example. Ugh, this is so strange. I could have sworn I just saw like this two people walking already. There was a mom and a kid that was a boy. And somebody else is doing the same thing. That's so strange. So anyways, I remembered this little vision about like the light and the different colors in the light. Then I was like, oh shit, I just wrote that song yesterday about the color green. And like the motif, or not the motif, but like the metaphor, or like my intention in the lyrics was that like I could paint them all the scene, but you'd still be green. And what I meant by that, my intention behind that, was to say that I could like explain this in detail to people, but they'd always just see the one color instead of like the bigger than the fucking rainbow, the kaleidoscopic truth that you are, you know, kaleidoscopic being that you are, these multi-dimensional, like super in-depth color. Okay. And so now the dream part, like I said, I was going to tell the dream in the middle. So I had this dream, and it started off somewhere else, like a lot of my dreams have been doing recently. They start off somewhere else, and then I'll be like, oh, like let's go here, and I'll go somewhere else, and it's like a continuation. Basically it kind of started off as like a romancy kind of dream. And it's so funny because it's with this same person. I've been dreaming about him for like months now, honestly, and I don't know why. I don't know why he's always like in my dreams in this romantic setting, because there's not there's no like romantic connection in real life. It's so strange. I've been looking into that as to why this is true. But anyways, I was with my friend, because that's my friend, and we went to like a house that he was staying in, but it was like also my house. It was weird, you know how dreams are. And he was like, hold on one sec, I gotta go get something. So he left out of the room, and I turned around in the room towards the back, and there was like a door to the back of the house, and outside was a balcony. Like not a balcony, a balcony, but it was like a big balcony, like a one that like frames the whole house, like the size of the whole house is the balcony. And it was made out of this black wood that was like old and like crickety and like felt creepy or whatever. And behind, like beyond the yard and like beyond the balcony was like this lake, or like a huge ass pond, and the water was black because it was night, and there was like a moon and shit, and on the water was this fucking mermaid thing. It's so hard. Do I have like a pen to like draw out? Because it wasn't just like a mermaid like they tell us that mermaids look like, with, you know, Ariel and shit. In my opinion, I feel like there's multiple species of like what they call mermaid, or multiple races of mermaids. And this one looked very specific. I feel like I'm being called to like draw it out. Give me a moment. I do have a pen. I just gotta find some paper. You can like, I don't know, tell me in the comments whatever you want while I get this together. Get my shit together, cause I got some place to go. And I pray when I get there to see everyone I know. Look up. Okay. Just like this. Okay. Anybody say anything in the comments? No, it just says thinking different is a blessing. There's already enough of the same. But that's the thing, like, none of us are the same, but there are like, I will say, like, chunks of the collective that are like more similar, you know, like more closely grouped. And then there's people like myself who are like way over there. It's so funny because like I be forgetting that like not everybody like thinks the way that I think until I like go out and like talk to other human beings, and I'm just like, oh. Like you don't like, this isn't normal for you, like to like go through a day and like have this happen to you. Like there's always this being around me. I feel like it's different ones, and I feel like one of them's like my great grandmother, and like I'll just hear her like she'll say some feisty shit. My great grandma is feisty as hell. She's funny as hell, and I'd be like, oh, like other people don't like go throughout the day like with these things happening. It's like very normal for me. But again, like I don't be experienced what other people experience, you know what I mean? Like something else that's normal for them. So this isn't any way to like, I don't know, downplay nobody. Although I try to. Anyways, this is a bad drawing, but this is the best I can get. This is how the mermaid looked. It was like, what's it called? Damn, what are they called? Like those things from Harry Potter. The ones that's like human, but like with the, I just heard it. Come back, come back. They're a human with like the horse legs. What the hell are they called? Somebody tell me. They are human, but like have the horse like bottom part. So it was kind of like that, but like the front legs or whatever were like this, like bent up this way, like at an angle. And it looked beautiful. It was way better than this. It looked like, imagine like the most gorgeous like woman ever with like straight hair that was like, it was like, wasn't even hair. It was like flowing, like as it was like in water, like seaweed or something in water. It was like flowy, like very slender, like beautiful, majestic body. And like the like horse part was like not horse. This is just the shape that I wanted to draw to best give what I'm saying, but it was like fish horse. And you know what I was thinking when I realized like the horse part? I was like, they always say in those fucking mythologies that like horses come from water. Like they always say that, like the horses are from water. And I was like, this is probably the bitch they was talking about. Oh my God. Anyways, whoa. She was beautiful. This mermaid was like, it wasn't just like how she looked, it was how she felt. She felt so fucking like attractive, like you just wanted to follow her into whatever. And she was gliding over the water, like right on the surface. Like she wasn't swimming in the water or flying above it. She was like right on the, see my arm, right on the surface, like this, like right on top. And I could tell she was hunting, like I don't know what, for a fish or some shit, but she was haunting me, but she was hunting. And I saw her like going across the water, and like a lot of things I just fucking knew. Like I knew that even though she was so attractive and like so like majestic, oh by the way, she was glowing, like she was glowing blue and green, and it was a very like mesmerizing like blue and green. Like Like I said, they were alive. The colors were like moving on her. Just imagine like the most like I said, most beautiful woman that you've ever seen with straight hair, like, but like also this energy of like pulling you in. And I was like, maybe this is what they talk about, like the mermaids being like sirens. Like, it wasn't a sound that she was making, it was just her energy. But I also knew, and I knew it was because I was me, because I have like this high sensitivity to everything, that I knew that this bitch was fucking dangerous. Like, I knew, like, when I saw her and I saw all that like attractiveness, I immediately knew when I was on that balcony, like, she will kill you. Like, do not go out there. Like, that is very, very dangerous. Like, this woman, this person, this fish, this mermaid is lethal. Like, she will kill you. And like, I feel like if she like knew, it was multiple messages I got while I was watching her. I knew that, for one, like, we weren't supposed to see her. Like, humans, or like the state that we have been in, that we were in terms of like our consciousness, or our abilities, like being able to see like the full light spectrum, like I said, which is the theme of this video, which I feel like also is connected to value, that like humans couldn't see her, but she was always there, like, or sometimes, but that night she was there at that lake. But in general, like, she wasn't visible to us. But for some reason, I think in my dream, like, the consciousness had like expanded, and like the vibration had risen, and like, as we've been saying for a while, like, it's time to go home. Like, the veil is thinning, as you know, so to speak. The veil is thinning. The truth is coming out. Everything must be revealed. This was a huge message that I got last year. Like, I called last year, 2024, the year of reveal. And I called, like I said many times before now, I'm sorry if I'm repetitive, that this is a yang year, where like the masculine energy of that big revealing energy is like playing itself out in more physical ways. And so in my dream, I knew that was one of the things, that we can now see these creatures, these beings here. So that's something I knew. I knew that she was beautiful, alluring. I knew she was deadly. And I knew that she didn't know yet that we could see her, or that I could see her. So, because she wasn't paying me any attention. She was just going around hunting. She wasn't even concerned with like anybody like discovering her, because she was like a normal day. You know, you get up, you go to work. That's how you get up, you go to school. That's how she was. And I knew also, like, that if she found out that like we could see her, she would be afraid. Like, this beast that like instilled fear in others would be afraid of like, on like, of being like, the fact that her like privilege of like being able to be undiscovered, and nobody like knowing, like, let's say somebody did go out there and they died, she killed them, like, but they wouldn't know that it was her. Like, her ability to go on like without consequences, without discovery, without revealing herself, would have made her become afraid. And when people are afraid, they liable to do anything. So imagine this thing that's ancient, probably been here for fucking ever, you know, and know all this shit. Like, imagine like the fear that would like be instilled in her, and like how she would react. And so I knew all of this. I went out there for like 2 seconds, and I was like, oh, and I just knew all these things, all this information came to me. And I went back in the house, and I was like I was like shaking the guy, and like I was trying to tell my family, and my family that was there wouldn't listen. And so I went to my friend, and I was telling him, I was like, believe me, I was like, do not go outside. Do not go outside. Like, there's a creature in that fucking water, and it looks beautiful, but it will kill you. And when it finds out that we can see them, it will like not just kill you, but it will take you with her and like torture you or some shit, or like go crazy, like I said, because she's gonna be in fear. And so people have to do anything in fear. Fear will make you do anything, you know, the fear of the unknown. And so yeah, that was my dream. You can imagine how I woke up, looking great. But anyways, I say all of this to say that the light, these themes of light are important. um and the more of the light spectrum, and this is all for lack of better words, because like I said, like this is all beyond like what we've been taught. So this is all, for like a better word, 6:55. The light spectrum, and I'm getting another message. Downloads. The light spectrum is like, our abilities to see the true light is increasing. There's something with light. And the message I just got just now was about dragonflies, and how like they have something to do with this. I don't know what, but like dragonflies, they come in all these different colors, and like they have that shimmer about them. They're the only insects, if I'm not mistaken, that can fly in all directions. They are born, they're like birthed in water and like live in air. Like these motherfuckers are like so fucking cool. Like, why don't we talk about dragonflies? Like, why aren't dragonflies like mascots in schools and like NFL teams? They're so fucking unbelievable. I read this one book about dragonflies. It blew my mind. It's called Dragonfly Girl. And let me know if there has been a second book in that series yet, because it was amazing. Changed my life. But yeah, the light spectrum. And I feel like I said, it is congruent, or it's connected somehow to this idea of like self-worth and like valuing yourself. This car license plate says Millie, and it reminded me of Millie Bobby Brown. So there again is that color, like that color reference, like the brown. And she's in Stranger Things. Like Stranger Things have happened. Something that I will say before I end this, because my hand hurt. Look at the sun. Oh my gosh. Is that like, these things are true as we know them to be true. I'll say that again. These things are true as we know them to be true. Meaning that you find what you're looking for. And that's what I was saying at the beginning of this, when I was talking about how I had that experience with the Joker movie, and instead of like seeing it as an opportunity to connect with people, I saw it through my own perspective and like thinking and patterns as an opportunity to create separation between myself and others. Oh my gosh. Oh, these memories just coming back in, and like this feeling. I remember like there was somebody I had met at the time when I like was obsessed with that movie, and they sat there and like listened to me talk about it for like hours. And even then, all I could feel was this sense of separation. But in that, it's just so much love. Like this person loved me and cared about me, and what I had to say, they valued me. And they sat there for hours as I talked about this movie. But like, when I look back on the memory, all I see is like how they didn't understand me. And this is all important in terms of color. There's this one lyric in my song Green, and it's like, I don't deserve the shades of this feeling. And I feel like that just says it fucking all. The whole little chorus is like, I don't deserve the shades of this feeling. Unicorns are hard to believe in, and I could paint them all the scene, but it'd still be green. And this is what I mean by, in my songs, always as I talk about others, I'm always talking about myself. And I feel like that too can be connected in terms of the light spectrum that I'm talking about. Like, for example, the color white that I saw in that vision with those ant people, as I'll call them. If I talk about that color white as I did with them, I was also talking about the color purple and turquoise. Talking about the color purple, turquoise, brown, yellow, because it was all in that one color, where these strands of endless amounts of other colors, the more you looked into one, you found another. And I just feel like that's just so deep. And I feel like that is the message that's not only pertinent now, but in the future, which is also now, as you are watching this later. But back to what I was saying before I went off on this little tangent, is that you find what you're looking for. These things are true as we know them to be true. I don't know if that's what I said originally, but like, if you go out into the world and you look for the evidence of the light spectrum expanding, if you're seeing rainbows, if you're seeing more colors, if colors feel more alive to you, then they are more alive, and there are more colors, and there are more rainbows, and there are more strands of light. There's more multidimensionality to your reality. But if you go out into the world and you're like, I don't see shit, I see the same colors, they're solid, they're one thing, then that is what they are. And you know, going back to like, I am what I see is what I am, the Michael Jackson Man in the Mirror, and also what I was talking about in a few videos ago about like our bodies and how we are water, and that mirrors are portals, and that as water is reflective, water is also a portal. And so we are all like portals into each other. Oh my God, I'm getting like emotional. I'm feeling something. We are all portals into each other. We are all mirrors reflecting each other, or bodies of water. And so in that, we change the world by changing ourselves, like how ourselves and how we view the world. And I feel like right now that aspect of viewing and vision is extremely substantial. So I feel like that's saying like substantially substantial, extremely extreme. It's extremely substantial, this idea of vision in particular, of what you are seeing. Like I've had this a lot, not a lot, but I've certainly had it happen more recently in my reality, where like I look at something and I see it, but then like I look at it again and it's changed. That happened to me yesterday. And I will share this as a reflection of you. If you're watching this is probably something you've done recently, and I will just say that. But this is an example of what I mean by like, you are what you see, and what you see is what you are. I was having a rougher day yesterday, and I was upset because my bosses put me on a schedule for more time than I wanted to be on the schedule, and I was exhausted because of lack of sleep, and it was just really like dragging me down. And I was like, at one point I was like what the fuck am I doing? I was like, I don't have to do this. Like, let me just change my reality. I literally thought that. I was like, why am I like suffering? There's no need. Like, just change it. So I did. I just was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be tired anymore. And I instantly got more energy. I wasn't tired anymore. Like, the mood shifted. And then when I looked at my schedule, what nobody even told me, they always update you if they change the schedule, but they didn't update me. And when I looked at the schedule, it changed this week. I had less hours. I have days when I get to go home earlier, and like it just improved. I no longer had to wake up, or I don't like to wake up early. I'm a night person because a lot of like information comes in at night. I think because everybody's quiet or what, I don't know. Or like that's when like the energy from the day gets to sink in. I don't know. But my whole schedule changed. Like originally it was like more intense workload, earlier arrivals. And then when I shifted my energy and I looked back at the schedule again, my intuition was like, just look at it again. It was shifted. And so the power of your vision is like, it's beyond like monumental. And also one way you can think about it is like that story, The Little Prince, which I know when I listen back to this, it's going to be important, because one of my kids had fox socks on today. Fox socks? One of my kids had fox socks on today, red fox socks. And in The Little Prince, the book and the movie that I think used to be on YouTube, I don't think it's on Netflix, I don't think it's on there anymore, but this kid wants a fox, and the guy that's like with him, the kid keeps trying to draw him a fox, and the kid's like, no, it doesn't look like that. And so eventually the adult that's with him draws a box, And he's like, your fox is inside that box. And the kid is like, the little prince is like, that's perfect. Like, that's perfect. Because the vision of that kid has created that fox inside that box in like his own image. And it's perfect just from his own visualizations of it. And so it's real in that way. And so it is true. And I don't know, I haven't had any like major like out of body experiences. I've had like 2 of them that I remember, and I wasn't able to like get up out of my body because they went very quick. And the first time I was terrified. You know, things like that. But I feel like, in my opinion, if you get into like the how was this place created. Well, I'm feeling something. Hold on. I feel like I'm feeling like this hesitancy or this restriction and not to say in this way. So I will shift to something else. What can I shift to? Okay, so I'm hearing, just to stick with the examples that I gave earlier about how like what I see, I've literally like changed what I see. I'll give another example. My friend showed me like a text message that I had sent him, and I was like, you spelled my name wrong, like on the contact. I was like, that's not how you spell my name. And he was like, what? Like, he took his phone back. He was like, what? And he looked at it again, and he was like, that's not how you spell it. Like, how do you spell it? And when he showed me it the second time, it was correct. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, how did my name change? Like, in that instant, he didn't do anything. He just looked at my contact and was like, what? Like, how do you spell it? And when I looked at it again, it was literally changed to the correct way my name was supposed to be spelled. This is something that you do all the time. Like I said, if you're watching this has occurred in your life, and you can take that as proof and your own sign that you are what you see, and you are creating what you see, and that what we see, what everybody is saying 77, is changing and expanding to match the frequency of divine unconditional love, which is what and who we are. What we are created, where we are created from, and what we create from, and what we create is from. Okay, what is that? All right, I think that's all I have to say for now. Anyways, I feel like I should shift here. Look at the sun. It's so cute. That's all I have to say. I did not expect this to be so long. This came almost out of nowhere, but I know where it came from, and I'll be sharing a little bit of where it came from, and I'm gonna be putting my song Green in the comments, because I am valuing myself more, and the art that I make is valuable in ways that I haven't even encountered yet. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment if you feel called to, and subscribe if you feel called to it. Thank you so much for everybody who like supports me and my work and things like that. Thank you for being here. Bye.